guys, so I've got Lincoln here, and today I'm reviewing the SVR Cicavit Cream Anti-Mark Care SPF. And I've got Marcus's Beanie Baby, and it's an owl, which made me think we had an owl in our yard like earlier this year, like early in January, and it was just howling all night long. It was amazing, but the dogs were going crazy. So anyway, so Marcus, you guys wonder how I keep all these straight? I put a little tag on the back, then I remember whose is who. So thank you, Lincoln, for the nice introduction. Okay, so this sunscreen, a lot of you guys told me to try it out, and so I finally did, and I'm very impressed, and I'm very glad I tried it out. So I've got my full review ready, and I've generally got a lot of good things to say about this sunscreen. So with everything going on, I know everyone's looking, or not everyone, a lot of people are looking for good sunscreen, so I'm really trying to make it a priority, especially before summer hits, at least where we are, to find some good options and alternatives if you've been using one of the infamously sketchy sunscreens. So, okay, SVR has a lot of, they also have their Sun Secure. I really like this one, but for winter, this one's got a really dark tint to it, so it's too much for me for winter, but anyway. Okay, so they say this is a repairing sunscreen for damaged areas, suitable for the entire family, that heals the skin and prevents darkening. A very high protection sunscreen that soothes and accelerates the repair of damaged skin, and in addition targets all types of UVA, UVB, and infrared and visible light. So there we go. Okay, so my first criteria is packaging, and they've done a nice job. I like the dispenser typically, the little needle nose, especially when it's a liquid product. It just makes it a little bit easier to dispense. So I like the packaging. It also protects it from exposure to light and air, and this one has some good beneficial ingredients, so you do want to protect those. So they've done a good job with that. The other nice thing is it is free from denatured or drying types of alcohol. It is hard to find a really good sunscreen that doesn't contain that, and is also fragrance free, sometimes even more of a challenge. Let's see, the manufacturing location for this one is France, so no issues with that. So SPF. So this one has an SPF of 50 plus, which where this one is made. Generally 50 plus means it's typically an SPF of 60 or higher. So that's great. In my opinion, everyone should be using at least an SPF 30 on a daily basis. So this one goes above and beyond, which is great. No issues at all with that. When we get to the UVA protection, I'm pretty satisfied that this one provides good UVA protection because of the filters they use, which let me find that page with the filters. Hang on one second. Okay, sorry, this is out of order. Okay, so the UVA protection, it appears to have excellent UVA protection based on the filters. Since this is manufactured in France, there is no like PA where you see the PA with the pluses. That's typically Asian countries typically use those. In the US, we use broad spectrum. You don't see that, which broad spectrum really doesn't mean much. But based on the filters they used, they've got Uvinol A+, which is a UV1 and some UVA2 filters. That's very photostable. It's got UVAsorb, which does UVB and UVA2 rays. And then Tinsorb S, which is UVB, UVA2, and UVA1 rays. So overall, based on those, I'm satisfied that this provides excellent UVA protection. Pretty good, great protection for UVAs. So filters used, so I just talked about those. We also have Uvinol T150, which is very photostable. It absorbs UVB filters, and it's, in my opinion, one of the best UVB filters that's around. Does a very good job absorbing them. Overall, we've got a total of 4 chemical inorganic filters, or organic filters. So based on that, they did a pretty good job. Compared to some of these other sunscreens that use 2 filters, talking about Purito, 2 filters and very low percentages of them. This one uses 4 filters. They're all very high up on the ingredient list. I don't know the percentage because I couldn't find that anywhere, but based on where they fall on the ingredient list, I'm pretty satisfied that this is a pretty good sunscreen for all-around UVA, UVB protection. Okay, in terms of the white cast, so let's do a little demo here. So this one applies pretty clear once you smooth it into skin. I didn't notice any white cast once it was absorbed at all. So there you go. Very nice, very hydrating, applies very easily, no white cast at all. Pretty impressive. Maybe perhaps those with very, very dark skin tones might notice a very, very slight white cast, but it goes on pretty clear once you smooth it in. So very easy to apply. The texture is very nice. It's liquidy, but it sets to kind of a matte, natural finish, not overly matte, not like dryingly matte looking, but more of a natural finish, non-sticky, which is nice. Very easy to use. And I would say it's very, very slightly dewy, just a little bit. But once you set it with foundation or a little bit of powder, it looks really natural. So I really like it, and the finish is non-sticky. So very easy to use, applies nicely, absorbs quickly, works great. No issues with pilling under skincare products. Doesn't really feel like a sunscreen where you think of thick, or you think of white cast, or you think of greasy. It doesn't do any of that, which is amazing. Then we get to antioxidants and beneficial ingredients of this one. So this one's got a really nice, impressive ingredient list. Typically where I see these really great sunscreens that are super aesthetically pleasing and nice to apply, they typically just don't have any other really good ingredients to back it up, which as long as you use other products underneath it, it's fine. But this one, actually, they really did a good job. So we've got niacinamide, which is pretty high up on the ingredient list. It's a great ingredient. It's a good antioxidant. It's a good skin brightener. It's anti-acne, good for the skin barrier. It's a great ingredient. We've got beta-carotene, which is a good antioxidant and skin conditioning ingredient. We've got soybean oil, which is good for hydrating the skin, which it does hydrate without feeling greasy at all, which is so amazing. Then we've got lecithin, good hydrating ingredient. We've got squalane, a good antioxidant, a good hydrating ingredient, skin identical ingredient. ALPHA-GLUCAN oligosaccharide. I think I pronounced that right, but I will tell you, I know how to type and spell oligosaccharide without spell check. Unless spell check doesn't check that word, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. I was impressed with myself though. And that's a good skin protecting and smoothing ingredient. We've got caffeine glucoside, a good antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and it's also a protective ingredient that comes from green coffee. We've got Novyl, which is a moisturizing and humectant ingredient. We've got several sugar-derived humectants, and then 2 forms of vitamin E, which is a good hydrating and antioxidant. So they impressed me with this ingredient list because this doesn't feel like a sunscreen, it doesn't look like a sunscreen, but it's also got amazing ingredients. And it's not greasy, it's not white cast, it's not thick. So they really did a good job. In terms of acneagentic ingredients, so we've got a few. We've got CETEARYL alcohol, CETERA 20, dimethicone, soybean oil, vitamin E, and then sorbitan isostearate, which is a fungal acne trigger. So we've got a few on that list. So if you're very, very prone to breakouts, might not be ideal, but still worth a try in my opinion. Okay, in terms of animal testing, apparently this company is not cruelty-free. I couldn't really find out much other information other than that, but it does not appear that they are cruelty-free. If you know anything else, leave a comment. In terms of performance, so this one lasts most of the day without any issues. So if you use just a little bit of powder or foundation over it, it sets to a really nice finish that doesn't ever look greasy. Maybe towards the end of the day it looks a little dewy, but not greasy. I'm very satisfied that this is a great job protecting you from UVA aging and burning rays. I'm pretty confident now in using this sunscreen on days I'm outside walking and things like that because it doesn't feel like it slides off my face, which is nice. The only thing I don't like about this sunscreen is it does contain a very, very small amount of sodium lauryl sulfate, which is different than sodium lauryl sulfate. Sodium lauryl sulfate can be very, very irritating. Sodium lauryl sulfate is not as high up on that scale. I've noticed now this is not super uncommon with sunscreens that they put this in here. So personally, I didn't notice any irritation using this for at least 2 weeks straight every day. So keep that little fact in mind if you're very sensitive to that. But I didn't have any issues and my skin is pretty sensitive. So, okay, then it comes to the price, and this is even better. So this is the full size, which is 1.4 ounces, 40 milliliters, and it retails for about $17, which is pretty darn good. If you're in the US, it's a little trickier getting some of these sunscreens. I have found several websites now, which I've considered to be reputable. It's very sketchy, though, when you are in the US and you're searching for European sunscreens. There's a lot of sites that are really preying on people trying to get these sunscreens that sell old stock, just maybe fake stuff. I don't know. So you have to be very cautious. I've really weeded out a lot of websites, and I will link to the ones I trust and use. I purchased this from the website Care2Beauty, just the word care, CARETO, wordbeauty.com. So I've really weeded out through a lot of these sites because I've had challenges, especially like Bioderma used to be easy to get from some of these more reputable brands. And I think they're cracking down on it, so it's getting a little bit more difficult. So I've really weeded through a lot of websites. I'll leave the ones I trust below because there's not a lot of them. There's a few of them, but if you're in the US, it's just kind of trickier. Okay, so with the 15 being a perfect score, this one got a 13, cruelty-free being an issue, and a few acneagentic ingredients being the other issue. So overall, very happy with this sunscreen, very impressed with it. Highly recommend if you're looking for a really good one. It's worth checking out. Certainly this brand, they've got a lot of good sunscreens out there. So anyway, those are my thoughts on it. If you've tried it or if you were one of the ones that recommended it to me, leave a comment. Love hearing from you guys. And stay tuned for more tomorrow. Thank you so much.